streaming.
The screen's supposed to be blacked out, or?
That's yours. That's your chart. Fine.
Yeah, but I mean, not screen is just black. I guess that's what it's supposed to.
Yeah, I can see your mouse moving around. So if you punch up your charts, yeah, just pull up your charts.
But my background, that's supposed to be blacked out. I guess it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, just click on your charts. There you go. Yep, that's perfect right there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. All right, now let me get the YouTube.
Okay. Then how do I get rid of this team view in the corner?
Oh, let's do this. I'll just.
I'm trying to hit.
You could probably minimize it, can't you? Or can you?
Yeah, maybe right here. Well, I don't know.
That's weird. We didn't have that last time. Let's let me borrow it here for a sec.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, it never was in the corner like that.
That is really, really weird.
Or you want to start all over? Or,
Functions. No, I don't want that. Oh, Sabrina, stop. Don't start this. No. Okay, well, we can't close it. I wonder... There we go. Okay. I just moved it out of the way. Nobody will be able to see it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on the live streaming, and we will get ready to go here.
Oh, I got this right in the middle. I guess I can bring that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. Oh. Here, I'll move it for you. Oh, you got it. There you go. Perfect. Yeah. There we go.
All right.
Okay, well, I'm going to click on the stream now. We're about we're 5 minutes out, so I'll go ahead and click stream now, and we'll see if anybody's ready to go. Okay, anybody here? We are still about 5 minutes away, so me and Joe will just kind of talk just a little bit and wait until 8 o'clock arrives.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I'd like to go over a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. Talk away, Joe. You got it.
Well, I was going to talk about the ETF deal and that one company that they mentioned that they were going to break out 4 or 5 ETFs. Some of those were 1 times and a half, 1.5, 2, 2.5, whatever times whatever Bitcoin was going to do. And I have a little website I pulled up on, and they're huge in these leveraged and inverse ETFs. I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but I mean, there's a couple of dozen right here at least.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
And if you click on performance, true, there's a few that have made a little bit of percentage gain, but the majority, are kind of losing ground. And I think these things are set up to actually go back to zero. Some type of statistical, however they set them up, percentage-wise against the regular, SPY or S&P 500 or gold or silver or, I mean, it's about anything. It's almost like going to Vegas. You can bet on 2 raindrops going down a window. But I just thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That one group, they mixed, but I think the CBEO or CZOE, I think it's EO. Anyway, they're letting those guys, by the way it looks, run with it.
Interesting.
But,
yeah.
Yeah. But maybe they'll come back and look at it again. But these guys are, I mean, I tell you, they got a good resume regarding, inverse and leveraged ETS. Bear and bull, that's up like energy. Bull 3 times, whatever, I guess the West Texas Intermediate, oil is priced at this, those 3 times, or maybe it's, UNG, I don't know.
It's all about leverage. That's basically what it's about. It's all about leverage. Yeah.
And they'll move. They'll definitely move. But you don't want to be on the wrong side of it.
No, you don't. Exactly.
3 times.
Yeah, it's like you got JNUG up there. That's the Daily Junior Gold members. I've traded that before.
Yeah. Okay.
Those are things that, and it's almost like the VIX, the volatility index on the stock exchange. They've got one of those 3 times leverage over there too. But what happens is that it depreciates and it just keeps going lower and lower and lower. I mean, you could play it and hope to get a spike at some point, but you better get out because it's eventually just going to drift down until it expires and then, you're done. So, but anyway, so looks like we got some people. It's 8 o'clock. Guys, I'm CryptoFib and I'm here with Joe Marshall at CryptoChartsJoe. And we're going to start looking at some Bitcoin action, what's been going on lately, kind of talk about what's happened, where we're at, where we think we're going, and then we'll start getting into some other stuff and taking some chart requests. So with that said, I am going to go ahead and start out with Bitcoin, and I'm going to have Joe start out with his chart here and kind of let you take over here, Joe. Why don't you talk and tell us what you got?
Okay, thanks. I just doing it. Right here. Can you see me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I wanted to ask everybody, can you guys hear us? And, just type in the channel, just something, thumbs up or whatever. Just making sure that the sound is good, video's good.
Yeah.
Let's see what they say here. Let's see what they say here real quick. I want to make sure before we go.
Gotcha.
All right, Corey says it's clear, so if it's clear for him, then it's got to be clear for everybody else unless their computers are broke. All right, Joe, it's all you, buddy.
Cool. All right, well, let's look at the chart. Really, I'm most excited about is the weekly chart on Bitcoin, and you can see my cursor here within the yellow highlighted area. Basically, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, and then we're in the 6th week right now. And with all this sideways consolidation, 1 to 5 weeks, a little over a month of good solid consolidation. If you look over to the side, I don't know, you could maybe call that a little bit of support here. It was resistance and they got into it and support. So I was trying to see, what really was holding it up. It might have been honestly just the price action around that 6,400. If you remember, it was pretty tough, getting back over it consistently. And remember you and I talking about that 6,400 mark. But anyway, looked like we had a good. Maybe this will be a good floor, to rally back up on, and coming up on these moving averages. But I'll personally feel a whole lot better once we get over that magical, psychological, 10,000 right here. Get that 1, 2, 3 weeks where it kind of bumped its head. So 10, I think it's 11.5. I was looking at it a little bit earlier before we got on here. And yeah, I think 11.5 is the next one. You clear it, then, I think it would just, like a magnet pull its way up to, the old highs there.
Absolutely.
But, but let me, and then we'll just back to the daily here. And I don't have any chart stuff on here yet. I just wanted to kind of clean chart to look at things. And Again, nice consolidation before this next run up for a few days, and then it broke out, got over the 50, which is this green line, which we'll get to in a little bit, but, Ethereum and Litecoin that's been their downfall, quite honestly, here lately, is getting over that 50. And in, traders in mutual funds, people trading, like the S&P 500, the general stock market, as a rule of thumb, any price action under the 50 is considered bearish, and most of them don't even touch it unless they're going to be shorting it. So to have this over the 50, if alleged big money's coming in, I bet they were glad to see that. It's been under the 50 months here. But anyway, over the 50, over most everything, they were coming up on that 200. And what we were talking about earlier, we came in there from an extended price, the lows, and the 200 is way up here. And when that happens, as soon as that price gets close to or hits the 200, it will be rejected for a while. So that's why the other night, a lot of other chart people, traders, whatever, on Twitter, everybody's yelling, hey, 8,800, 9,000, 10,000, it's just a lot of people. But we were saying, no, it's going to, actually, I thought it was going to come up and hit it, maybe drive into 88, wick up,
right,
long wick and hit it, and then come back. But it didn't even do that. So 84, was that number it's trying to get through. But as soon as like this pullback, this little consolidation, I wouldn't hurt my feelings to see it come back even to 76 because of where it's run from down here at the low. 5,777. Now, how crazy is that? All odd numbers and 3 sevens, okay? Can't make this stuff up.
You can't. No, you sure can't.
Yeah, there's no algos touching this. There's no, human touch here, let me tell you. Anyway, so that's my tinfoil hat story. But anyway, we're back here. Then also, I'm kind of concerned with the RSI, but at the same time, Bitcoin and cryptos, a lot of times, they don't care about the RSI. It's, look here, last November, it was way up crazy, high, 94, 95, whatever. So, we're just right in here right now.
Yeah.
A little bit higher. So, maybe still run, but considering those different factors, and then also the other night, what was telling me it was going to have a pause was you had this pivot high here as well at about 8,500. So you had 1, 2, 3 high RSI, plus the 4-hour and 1-hour was overextended, overbought, RSI-wise and price-wise.
Yeah.
And then also let me throw on the deals. You had that fib I stole from you. I had it. Where's the other one? There was another one I had. Anyway, we were hitting or pretty close to it, a fib retracement level. Can't believe I moved that. I think I moved that because I wanted to see where it might come back to.
Right.
It could come down to that 12 EMA, 74, 7,500, 7,600. Anyway, right in here. The reason why this line here, let me blow it up a little bit so people can see a little bit better. The reason why I had that, because I'm a firm believer in these high pivots and low pivots, forming resistance and support. So yeah, this is a really good area, that 70s. I think I even tweeted that out, that 7,700 area. And if it does come down, that 12 will be in that area as well to help, slow it down if it starts dropping. But, we're starting a new candle, 7 p.m. Central Time. Starts a new day, so to speak, new 24-hour period. And we're starting a candle. We're green right now, but,
yeah,
we still have 23 more hours to go.
Exactly.
See how that works out. But anyway, unless somebody has something or wants to look at a 5-second chart or whatever, that's kind of where we are. Let wire looks like. Yeah, RSI, I mean, it adjusted a little bit. See how previously it came back a little bit, you know, around the high 50 range and then consolidated for the next run up. It's doing that too, but I mean, you see what I see.
Oh, the 10 EMAs. Yeah, the EMAs are holding up too.
Yeah, it is right there on that 12. The reason why I used the 12, I mentioned this before on the live stream, is that's what Coinbase uses, the 12 and 21. I just use their 12 just to kind of get a handle of, you know, kind of what, you know, the traders on there are looking at versus a whole lot. And then I just use the normal 20 and 50 and then that 200, which you really don't need on this, you know, 4-hour chart.
Yeah.
And then breaking it down a little bit more 1-hour chart, you know, like you're saying, yeah, that 50 held here, back here, and it looks like it might be holding here. But on the hourly chart, it looks, that could be, I mean, you really squint your eyes and wanted to draw some lines, that could be a, you know, maybe a little bull flag. And then let me show people real quick if I can, if I can put this up. You kind of see that it look pretty good on the screen as far as trying to enlarge this. Okay, that's called a bow tie when you have one moving average crossing through and up another one. So that 12 should come up like this.
Yeah.
And that red, that 20 should come down. And it doesn't matter if it's on a 10-minute chart or a weekly chart or whatever. When it crosses a high percentage time, I know guys that just trade almost exclusively these bow ties. That's it's kind of a chart school off anyway. That'll form support. Right here, it was resistance. And oftentimes that price will come up and hit, actually this one right here, it'll come up and hit and get rejected. And, you know, you just put, like if you're trading style, we just put our short, you know, limit price right in here, maybe a little above, and catch it and just write it down. But anyway, just I saw that and I thought I'd tell the folks in case they see that at some other time. See where it crossed right here and it just formed a little, like a, you know, hands holding it up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, okie dokie. Well, I'll toss it up to you. And
yeah, I think we're totally on the same page here, and I'll just throw. I'm going to throw the daily. This is the Chicago Board of Exchange. This is the Chicago Board of Exchange futures chart, and it's pretty much the same thing that you've got. Your dotted line. That's where I had. We had a lot of congestion right over here, and that's obviously where the gap was. So that was some big resistance right in that area. So once it broke it, you know, you almost want to see it come down and test it to make sure that it's good, right? And so if it can come down and test that, and I'm not saying that it has to, but I would like to see it do it because I don't want to see this thing go just straight to the moon. I don't think parabolic is good for anything. I mean, I say that, I mean, it's good obviously if you're long, but for the longer term of this, we want to see it just kind of stair-step its way up, you know?
Yeah, it's more healthy. Yeah.
It's definitely more healthy. Yeah. And so we're stalling here at the 100-day or the 100 EMA, and we've got this area down here. So could we get down to 7850-ish or 7700, which you was talking about? Absolutely. You know, and that would be about the area that the 10 and the 20 might be at in the next few days. So, but
we still, not to cut you off, I just want to, you know, which you kind of have, let people know that's still bullish, that's still positive, that's still okay. I mean, I don't know, some people, you know, like, were back in the day, say back in the day, it was just last year, you know, October, November, December, that expect these major, just screaming runs, and let's, you know, there's no reason to get discouraged if it pulls back, you know, a couple, 3 days or whatever.
No, I mean,
you know,
it's July 25th, and the proposed date for announcement on ETF is August 10th. That's a long ways away. That's 2 weeks away. And so we're not going to go up to 10, 15,000, okay? So we just need to dial it back a little bit, folks. I mean, this has been a really strong move. We're up 44%. 44% from the lows. That's a huge move, especially in a bear market, which we are still in. So I want to point that out. We're still in a bear market. It's a great bull move. But I'm just of the belief that, and I've seen some people that are calling for, and I'll move this out of the way. I've seen some people calling for, 4,000 or 3,000 still. And I'm like, could it get there? Yeah, but it's going to take some horrible news. I do not see at this point Bitcoin, especially after that double bottom it made back there in June, that it's going to violate that. I really don't. I think could we get a pullback to about, I don't know, maybe even 6,500? Yeah, but we're still bullish, right?
Right. Yeah. And if this was a stock, a company, or something, there would probably be people coming out, analysts, actually, giving it positive ratings, and kind of shilling it, touting it, with the upcoming, potential news and the potential of, more liquidity and more people getting in it. Now, let's just go ahead and get this on the table and off the table if it's okay, JR.
Yeah.
The ETFs, I think they can slice either way. Now, if they have the institution, technically, theoretically, hold the physical coin, so to speak, they have them buy the coin and keep it in cold storage, so on and so forth, then I like to take my hat off to them and go, okay, this is, you're beginning to, convince me this is a legitimate deal. But if it's primarily, hypothecated, just like all these other exchanges, you're buying stuff that's not really there, and then when you get to pull it off, they have to go buy it from somewhere else or pull it out of their cold storage. Because of the volume and everything, if you combine all the volume on all the exchanges just on Bitcoin, the volume far outstretches or exceeds the actual coins, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, they're not really trading coins. If we were really trading coins out there, or tenths of a coin or whatever, it was really, if you were, the SEC said, or whatever, said, hey, you actually, when you buy it, you have to pull it off, keep in cold storage. Yeah, it'd be a totally different world right now. But, that's a different story. And then same with the stock market, you can't really, they don't really give you the hard copy shares, like they did your granddad, electronic. And whenever you try to sell one share, there's 10 other guys that own the same share, you know how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
So, say all this to say this. So, in the fine print, if that company XYZ has to own, just like the ETF supposedly have to own the physical gold, physical silver, supposedly. If they're having to do that with Bitcoin, Litecoin, whatever they're making an ETF on, then okay, that's good to go. But if not, I don't know, it could hurt us as much as it could help us, if they, what I mean, if you add more water to the Kool-Aid, it dilutes the Kool-Aid and dilutes the price, and I mean, we could be floating, in this 5,000 to 10,000 range indefinitely.
Yeah, it's possible, but I don't know. I don't see it happening. It's just going to be too volatile. But I did notice, and not to get off subject, but let's see. Corey was asking if we're still holding Litecoin, and absolutely.
Yeah, I like Bitcoin Ben. I'm not selling anything except for my little, swing trade bag.
Well, here's the deal. I've got a weekly chart of Litecoin up right now, and guys, if this doesn't tell you anything at all about where I'm at on Litecoin, it's not like I've got a huge position, but I've got enough that if it makes a move, it's good, right? I mean, look, we got a falling wedge, a beautiful one here, and I'm not saying that it can't get down and retest, who knows, 65 or whatever, but I'll promise you, if it comes down and touches that a third time, this thing will blast off. I mean, but it could go from now. It had a nice double bottom here. We're starting to get some up move here, but the 10 EMA is blocking its way right now. And so once it gets past that area, which is around where we were, it was 91 to 92. Once it breaks through that, then I think you'll start to see some momentum pick up. But anyway, that's kind of what I had on Litecoin. Joe, I'm gonna move your chart over, and maybe you can show them too what you got.
Okay. Well, I had bucks next to my deal. Well, that's cool. I got Litecoin popping up here. Okay. Yeah, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, starting our 6th week. And on that time count, either the 6th or 7th week, it's going to make a move. And you get this much sideways consolidation, there's going to be a hard move, good or bad. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, yeah, it will move. Litecoin is getting ready to move. And hopefully, it goes in our favor. But to hold that support right down here, I feel pretty good about the upside. But, time will tell. But, yeah, that's gonna make a pretty strong move. We could get into the hundreds pretty quick.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
100 real easy, Let me put it back on the daily, and this is what I would been beating Twitter. Hey, we're up at that 50, 50, 50. It's that green line here. Hopefully you can see it pretty well. We got under it right in here about the middle of May, and there. See, I was just taught it that. Look at that bow tie. See,
yep.
You just threw it down, and right here again. But anyway, it's just kept it 50, then right up here held it down. Matter of fact, even when it hit, I think I was tweeting that that was going to be the resistance, just like we were saying about Bitcoin the other night.
Yeah.
And then again, I came out and touched it, got a little pierced here, but as long as we go sideways, the stronger the odds, the better the odds that we're going to pop over that thing. And then once we get on that 50, who knows, I might bring in, some of those funds or whatever, supposedly, they'll consider that a lot more bullish as soon as we get that price action over the 50. But also, we have some support right here, this little consolidation area, high pivot right in here, leading across. But I wish we were a little bit more extended above the 12, but, at the same time, maybe worst case scenario would come down and get into that, low to mid 80s here at the 20 and 12. But then again, we get another, tomorrow, well, this is today's candle again, meaning tomorrow. Okay, this is the 24-hour candle start. Easy for me to explain. If we, get it going, it wicks down, or even if it goes up, that kind of sideways, or what I'm trying to say is maybe we get a little bull flag here on the next day or two, and then make a run. If we get over that 88.50, I think 88.50, 88.60 is right here. It lines up with this resistance over here where we topped out. Man, if we just crack that, we got a good run to this next consolidation right here in the 90s, or high 90s, actually. when Katie borrowed the door, we're into the hundreds, and maybe some FOMO start then. Throw the line out there. Yeah, here we go. Naturally is kind of a support area. I don't want it going below that, but just to say that it dropped. Anyway, that's the 94, I think it is. Yeah, right here. And then we can grind through to the sideways consolidation. That'd be sweet. And then, yeah, we'd be already at 100 right here. So, anyway, that's what I'm looking for. Hopefully we can maintain some sideways consolidation, get some strength, get up and over that 50. That'll be a big psychological boost. Maybe bring in some, bigger money that's held to certain trading rules that they want to maintain as far as not getting into any asset unless it's over the 50-day moving average. And then from there, just momentum and that, maybe a little FOMO would get us up into the hundreds. And then we have this line going back to January right here, coming down. Now we'll get and maybe by then that 200 will be coming down, but we will get a bounce down, a rejection off this line. That's guaranteed. And so let's say we did run up, hit it, we're going to come back down, maybe, 94 again, maybe this sideways consolidation, and hopefully go again. As soon as it breaks to the second time, mortgage your house. Take a second mortgage on your house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
It gets rejected, down, up. Yeah, it tests this thing twice and breaks through and over the 200. By then, maybe the 200 has come right in here or something. So maybe really all said that 125, 126 might be you get over this group right here. Maybe we go to all-time highs.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, somebody's got a question for you real quick. Eric Potter wants to know, what MAs do you use? What moving averages?
Okay,
do you use EMAs, simple, Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to pull it back here. We have some clear space. Yeah, I just used the EMA 12. The reason why I use that is that's what Coinbase uses on TDAX, their pro trader. So I kind of like to see what those guys are looking at rather than having to log on there all the time. But you can use the 10 EMA, just simple moving average. I don't think it's that big of a difference. And then I got the 20, because every institution in the world uses that, the 50, the 200, those are just all standard moving averages. And people, it's your own, deal. If you want more, salt or pepper,
right?
In your steak, whatever, but I just use those are standard, and that's what majority of the institutions. I, spent so much time looking at and trading the regular SP 500 regular markets. I just kept it over here, and as you see, those moving averages seem to be working. There's the 50.
Yeah.
It's not the 55. It's not the 70. It's not the 60. And boom. I guess an asset is an asset is an asset, no matter what you're trading or what people are trading, and emotions and, fear and greed and all that stuff. It just, whatever it is, rice, beans, or cryptos, these candles and these patterns and everything is still going to, come to pass, pretty much. That's the way it's been, since I've been in it.
Yeah. Do you, now, before we go too much further, I want to ask everybody, because we've gone over Litecoin, we've gone over Bitcoin, and I know, Joe, you've only got about a half hour left here. Does anybody have any chart requests that anybody wants to look at?
Well, I bet everybody wants to look at that XLM.
Oh, I'd imagine.
That's been Ox, ZRX. Those are kind of while everybody's deciding, I bet DigiBuy pops up, OMG, a minute ago.
Yeah, there we go. All right, Joe, cover DGB.
Okay.
And then you show yours and I'll show mine.
Okay. consolidation right here. That's one top. So you got a double top here, which is tough to get through. A lot of times you pull back to support and then try to run again. And then you got this over here in about the same area. So that's, you know, I mean, to me, that 1, 2, 3 times is try to get over that 5 cents, okay, right here. Will it? Yeah, I feel real strong it will. But all that sideways consolidation, it's been holding above the 12. I've been thinking it was going to come down and maybe retrace this bottom pivot here, which is now around where the 50 is, you know, the 3.5 cent area. I've really been expecting that, but it hasn't yet. So I don't know if that's just a strong community holding it. You know, no one, I mean, big money or whoever's in it with big money, I'm sure there is. I guess they're just holding, you know. I haven't seen anybody just say, okay, forget it, I'm going to give up and, you know, try it again sometime. But it's had a major nice run, you know, down here, you know, technically under 2 cents. See, I came down, wigged down, and hit that support there.
Yeah.
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
So I find all that fascinating. Then over here, that was resistance, and finally it blew up. And you got support for a couple of weeks here, whatever, and right here, and then it made a run. So anyway, but I'll tell you another thing, that 50 can cross up through that 200.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what traders are looking at right now. You know, it might take another week or so. And that would be very, very bullish. I mean, that's the opposite of the, you know, that death cross, really. You know, I mean,
right.
That would
yeah.
be I think that's called the golden cross, actually, when that happens.
Well, the thing about DGB, and I've always tried to stress this to anybody, is that you could take a core long position in something, right? It's not like you go all in on something. I almost had to laugh at somebody that messaged me on Twitter and said, hey, I'm going to go all in. And I'm like, no. Never go all in on anything. For all we know, I mean, Digibyte's got a great technology, but I think it's one of those that's a long-term play. It's just, you know, it's one of those that you just buy it and then you sit there and watch it. And if you watch it, it's a good trading kind of vehicle, really. You know, if you look at it, you can sit there and swing trade it all day long. You know, buy it 1 month and then sell it the next and then buy it back when it gets lower. But eventually it's in an uptrend now. It's found its bottom and support. So let's see what happens. You know,
not to get people too jazzed, but at one time, back in 14, 15, Litecoin was trading, you know, around 5, 10, 15 cents. And I mean, just kind of tell you, you know, where things came from. And also not to get people too pumped up, but I mean, this is kind of curling over. Maybe it'll flatten out and go up. But anyway, I mean, you could make a case for a very ugly bull flag here if you wanted to. If we could get this green candle, you could get a close above, you know, right here. See all that?
Oh, yeah.
See all that trash right here?
Yeah.
If we get a green candle to close right up here, that would bring so much more volume into it. I'm telling you, wouldn't have to hit 5. If we could clear out these wicks,
yeah.
that would be nice. So that's something to look for. And even if it comes down to the 200 right in there, this first fib, and
right.
I mean, you talk on that better than I can, but anyway, that would even be okay.
Yeah,
really.
So I'm gonna throw in my chart here real quick.
Yeah.
All right, so let's minimize this, and let's just throw up DGB. All right, so this is what I've got on the daily chart. Okay, and it's very similar to yours, Joe. But here's what I'm looking at. Okay, we've got this area right here that was resistance, right in here. And it came up, failed, and then didn't even get up to it and failed. But once it broke through, okay, and it came up and hit, it wicked a little bit past the 78.6, but it never did get a candle close above it. But look what's happened. It's basing right in here, just above support. Okay? That old resistance is now support. And so it's basing right in here. Now, if it falls through that, could it come down here and test, what is that, 494 or 500? Sure it can. Sure it can. But I just find it fascinating that it's just, and look at the size of the candles. I mean, that is just like big time battle going on right here as far as what's going on. So if it can hold this and go sideways a little bit, the next move could take it higher. And I'm looking at the stochastic RSI, and it is bottomed out. I mean, right now it is almost as low as it can go. So RSI is, it's just barely below 50, but the stochastic RSI is like bottomed out. I mean, it's at any time, you know, who knows what can happen with this. I mean, could it still go lower? Sure it can. But I'll promise you there's people that are probably going to be buying it up if it dips below that support line. But that's what I've got on Digibyte. I'm not calling for the moon tomorrow or anything like that. I just think it's fascinating to watch it, you know, in this pattern. It's holding that support level. That's what really gets me. It's more and more people are starting to figure it out. So anyway, I pulled your chart back over, Joe, and we'll let you kind of take a look at it. Now we've got all right. So that's DGB, guys. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Let's see. XLM, Joe. Here we go.
Okay, let me pull that up. Oh, I got a little distracted here. I just got some information that the market value lost by Facebook today equals the market cap of Bitcoin.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
If that doesn't show anything at all, I mean, guys, I mean, Bitcoin, I mean, the market cap of this thing is like, I mean, it could, who knows? We'll see what happens. It could go a lot higher, but we'll see.
Yeah. So I thought that, stock, you know, I won't get into everything that Facebook is in, but they're into a lot more stuff than people, you know, posting up pretty pictures of their vacation or their food. You know?
Oh, I know, right?
And then to think in one day, actually not even a day, I mean, when earnings came out, it was really an after hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just a matter of, you know, a couple of hours or so, if that. But anyway, okay, XLM is what you were saying?
XLM,
okay.
That's what they're wanting to see, yes.
XLM, okay, here we go, Lumen. Yeah, that's one of the darlings of the, see, I haven't looked at this in a while. I had this long-term trend line coming down, and see how it broke out above it? That's what I was talking about, Litecoin earlier.
Yeah, we tested it. Yeah, sure did.
Down, and everybody goes, oh my goodness, you know, we lost it, and then boom, then they go, okay, thanks for those cheap shares, and then we go run it up. Really, right now, it's over the 200. Well, that's pretty sweet. Man, see, now that's great. Well, it was right here. It wasn't too extended, but still, I'm very surprised that. Okay, we'll watch that candle tomorrow. Yeah, 1, 2 factors there.
Well, I'm going to point it out. You may have a bearish divergence on that RSI. No, I'm not. I'm not going to say that because it made a little hook there at one point. So, but I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's maybe getting a little extended, but. Yeah.
But you had good consolidation right here. That's probably what got it up and over. See, it came up here close to 200, rejected, got that consolidation. You just can't beat it. You know, get that strength filled up and boom, popped over it. We'll see what tomorrow holds, but it could come back and test this support line. So you have a high pivot here. I've already drawn that line, and resistance. So hopefully, if it does come back, be an area at 30 cents, you know, to add to it or get in if you're not. But anyway, yeah, I should run up. I think easy 38, 40 cents. These coins, even so, they're like whole round numbers. So whatever something is, you know, the middle, you know, like a $1.50, $1.70, you know, you can almost guarantee it's going to hit, you know, it might be just a wick, but it's going to come out and hit that whole round number. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think, yeah, the next party for this one might be, if I can get that thing to click right, maybe come up here to this high pivot might be the next. Well, I'll take that back. It already came out pretty close to it. That's close enough for government work.
Right.
I don't know. We might be, I don't know, it might have a shot at, you know, 40, 45. Plays the game right. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
And that very low, you know, low volume here, you can tell, you know, where people started juicing it up right here. Then yesterday, or actually today, this next green candle is starting what'll be, you know, Thursday. But anyway, yeah, I have a feeling if we could get well, let's get some, I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling here, but
no, you're fine.
Consolidation, a good floor, so it could move up 2 or 3 days, and then make a floor up here above the 100, and then make a run, you know, for that 45. But I'm telling you, everybody that got in here at 45,
yeah,
and wrote it down, guess what they're going to be doing back? They're going to be selling. So I'd be careful there. Then you come over here, you have, you know, all the way across, you know, you got this vibration, support, resistance, coming through here, a little bit of support, then right here. So that's pretty interesting. You know, right there at 40, 45, 46, you got a lot of trading.
Absolutely.
And it might be like, yeah, it might be like Digibyte, you know, once you get up there, this might be Digibyte's nickel, you know, it's just going to be a tough area to get through.
Yeah. That could be just forming a monstrous bull flag. I'm just throwing it out there. That's what it looks like. I don't know.
Thought.
Yeah, that's a scary thought, but
yeah.
Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, right. Let me see what this grins and tell you what, that weekly. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Came down. Then
double bottomed. Notice that double bottomed right there. Yeah, double bottomed.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then it blew up. And then man, almost caves in. I about guarantee it's going to go up and test that high. And then guess what? The next one, you know, it's going to be up here. So it could. I mean, I really like that setup on the weekly, and the weekly overrules everything. You know what I mean? And then it looks like November, December, it ran like a boss with everything else. So we get a run in crypto September, October, November. And that's what some people are. I kind of slipped on that. That's what, you know, some of the who's who are thinking, you know, that September through December might be the rerun of last year, as far as maybe not this high or whatever, but we should be getting some good stuff coming out. And this just caught my eye. Once you do these charts, you just see stuff. Well, see, there's that bow tie again, crossed down, it couldn't get up through it, came down, and then got up, and then it provided support. But anyway, that's kind of a bull flag here. And it came, so it went up and then kind of came back.
Yeah.
And then, so this candle here, any trader, you know, worth his margin account.
Oh, yeah.
He got in. Yeah, I got in there about the middle of November, ran that up. Man, you could have paid off your house right here.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's, so we've got XLM there. Let's, there's a couple other ones in here.
ZRX.
Actually, let's go to, Jose Lopez If he's still in here, he wants to see ZEC. I think that's Z. Is that Zcash? ZEC.
C is in cat. Yeah, but it is. Okay. Let me see. I'm trying to find it. Binance has a big. Well, let's do the dollar. Yeah. Yeah, Zcash. I mean, that weekly chart, yeah, that's all right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's slowed down, and then this week it's just been blowing up. So Sunday's going to be a big day for Zcash. And okay. Probably off the top matching up to what it could be trading with. I don't know. It's like if it could take off, it could come back up here to 260 again. Then, like we were talking about earlier, it might hit that 300, at 200. I mean, hit the 200 MA at 300, or actually it'd probably be down closer to 280 or 290 by then. Depends on how long it takes to get to this sideways consolidation. That's going to be a little bit to get through, but yeah, I don't really see a major pattern here or something I could draw some lines on. Let's see where it came from. That's certainly a good idea. Oh yeah, that double bottom here I like. Boom, and then it acted as support, and it came back. That's going to be a little pattern here. Up, down, up. See, then you're going to need another down, and then it should run up to that 200. That's where I'd get out, because that's what happened over here at 200. See, whatever comes from an extended, see, it's way above the 200 here. And as soon as it hits it, this is what I thought Bitcoin was going to do here. So I thought it was going to run through it, and then, do the opposite, hit it, and then back off. But see, from an extended point, when it started coming down, you can go ahead and put your buy orders in on that 200, and it hits and it'll take off again. And then from an extended, see, it's way down here, the 200's up there, so whenever it gets close, that's when to short it or get out. Now, it's pretty, it's not really, I don't know. And the 200's going to be a little bit of an issue, but anyway, I'm thinking you're going to get 280, 290 out of it if it's trading with, with the market. It looks like it's trading kind of sort of with Bitcoin here. It's above, it's better than some of those other coins. It's above the 50 and the 20. Ethereum, Litecoin's still under that 50, to be honest with you, as we saw. So anyway, hope you're fairly confused right now, because
well, let me. I'll tell you what. Let me go ahead and take a look at it on mine real quick.
Yeah. I'll do it. Let me see if I can do it.
Where's that? There we go. Let's go. I think I've actually charted this one once before. Well,
there's a fib retracement at 238, just right above it. So
oh
that
my
might be the
gosh,
first.
I haven't charted ZEC since May.
Wow.
All right, so let's obviously. Wow, some of these fibs hit spot on. Let's see here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I love not just forgetting about a chart and all of a sudden somebody asks for it and I pull it up. And, that shows whether, your stuff is on or not.
Right.
Honestly.
Yeah. Exactly.
If it's still holding up a few months later.
All right, so I'm going to throw on, let's see here. Let's just, let's do
And
this.
what's weird with those fibs while you're doing that, see right here, I mentioned earlier, so sideways consolidations will be kind of hard to get through.
Well, they can't see it, Joe. I moved the chart over. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Let's see, 78. Let's do a 1272 and a 1618. Yeah, so it's real close to the 127.2 retracement, and I'm sure that people probably are buying that just ahead of it. But I would still be a little leery. Here's the other thing: is that let's see. God, that looks really. I kind of see what you're saying, man. It kind of looks a little weird. There's something going on with that. I would. Oops, let me get that off there. I would have to spend some time on this one. Goodness gracious. Yeah.
It's not a slam dunk, you know.
No, it's not. That 50 EMA, it just keeps getting rejected at it. I mean, but here's the thing: is that if I was to do this, throw on a. There's where the bottom was. That's a double bottom. I mean, somebody could actually, I don't know that I would do it right now because we obviously know that the 50 EMA is resistance. I wouldn't recommend buying this. But man, what a nice move off that. And that's a double bottom. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's spot on.
Yeah. And that's a tough one. That really is. And when I get those type of charts, I just stay away. I'm like, if I can't read it and I can't, if I don't see anything going on real good with it, I'm sorry, I'll pass. I'm not gonna risk it. If I can't chart it and it looks weird to me, I'm just gonna stay away. I'm sorry.
Right. Well, I mean, if you're in it, I mean, there's nothing to lose staying in. But if you're not in it yet, I'd wait until it comes back and hits that 12 at some point. I mean, the 12 might be, up here in the low 200s or who knows, but it's going to get some rejection right up here when it hits that 0.38 at 240 because of this sideways consolidation.
Absolutely.
And then also the fib.
Absolutely.
And then you're going to have down it, pulls back, makes a higher low like it did here, low, high, higher high, then a higher low. This low is higher than this one.
Can you move? Anyway, I was going to say, can we? Let's move your chart up just a little. Can we move? Let's see. Hang on. I'm going to do this. I'm sorry, I busted in on your chart. Well, I was looking at the volume.
It's right over here.
Yeah, if you can squinch that just a little bit to show that volume. Is that the top of that volume bar right there?
Okay, go ahead and take my mouse and see.
Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Let me do this. I'm just going to bar it for a second because I can get it out of the way so I can see the there we go. Yeah. All right. See this right here? And this is why double bottoms are important, guys. Look at this. Low volume. You get a spike up, marginal volume, and then it comes down, and it's like, okay, are we going lower? And somebody said no. Look at that volume spike right there. That's your entry. And that's a huge area right there. And I'm going to point out, look what Bitcoin did after it did its double bottom, right? I'm not saying that ZEC is going to do the same thing. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying that's what double bottoms do. People, they're telling you right there on the chart with the volume and the price, we're not going lower. We are not going lower than right here. Sorry. Big volume spike, and there it goes.
Yeah, it has a guardian angel for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that's what you do on double bottoms, guys. I mean, when you watch the volume and you see a stick like that, and then you see the volume come in, and especially you go back and look at it to a prior low, huge. That is absolutely huge. I mean, that just tells you right there, get in and just have, put your stop loss. I mean, if you want to be risky, put your stop loss below that low. Because then you're still in the play on some of these dips. Now you don't want to go all in, but maybe go 50% in. And then that way, if it dips, you can buy a little bit more or whatnot. But that's huge right there. A double bottom with that kind of volume. Oh, man, that's just telling you to go long.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah. Okay, so who's got any other chart requests? Any other chart requests, please?
Or any questions?
Or questions, yeah. If you guys have any questions, yeah, absolutely. Questions, please. There's like a 10-second delay, Joe, so we're kind of...
Oh, okay.
Me and you are like live, but they're like 10 seconds behind, so...
Oh, okay, no problem.
Okay, Litecoin Vegeta. Oh, wait. Pillar long-term hold. Okay. Let's see. Chart requests, please, or questions.
Oh, did you hear Big Weird come out today talking about salt lending? That was the one ICO that actually worked out for me. I got in, way before they went live or whatever, and sold out, and then bought Litecoin with it. That's another story.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're having some CEO, stuff going on, and price dropped a little bit. It sounds like a great concept. You loan your, there's no recourse, no non-recourse loan. You just give them your Bitcoin, like, or whatever, and they give you a percentage of that back in fiat. And then you pay them back, or if you don't, they, take your coin. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So, it sounds like a pretty easy business concept. But
Hey, I was going to say, I'm sorry to interrupt. I got a question. JG in the channel wants to know, could ETFs be a Trojan horse for manipulation?
See, you and I were chatting that up, as we were getting going at the start. And, this, I think I still have it here. Yeah, this is the ETF fund company that got rejected, at least right now, by the SEC. But as you see, they have an incredible resume of these ETFs, and they're leveraged and inverse. Leveraged meaning they're 2, 3, as you can see, 3 times whatever. Let's say the S&P 500 goes up 2 points in one day. This would go up 6 points, for example. So, or inverse, in other words, the shorting it, if it's going down 2 or 3 points, this would be going down, 6 or 9 points, depending on which one you got into. So it's just, basically it's just, I don't know, adding juice, or what am I thinking about here? Nitrous,
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's going to wind you up a little quicker. I mean, you can make money real quick, and you can lose money a whole lot quicker, But these are what I call hypothecated. They don't really own the, the commodity or the stock or whatever. It's just a formulation that they come up with, and supposedly they're all geared to go to zero. I mean, you can see some of them starting out in the thousands of dollars if you look at a long enough chart, and then it's coming back to they come back towards zero, and then every single one of these at some point in time they've had to either eliminate some shares or put some shares out there. They had to do some some funky things to them to keep them upright, keep the game going. So a company like, well, I'm not going to call it company, I'm just saying, something like this, it might, I don't, but none of these, all these, here's the S&P, and then, Joe, you were talking about earlier about the gold or the silver, no, here it is, JNUT, you had traded.
JNUT, yeah.
Gold. Yeah. Did you, I mean, you traded the gold miners for a while. Did you really see like manipulation with them?
Well,
when this came out, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it'll manipulated.
Well, with gold, everybody always wants to talk about how gold is manipulated or silver is manipulated. If you want to say that, sure. I mean, but it all goes back to the U.S. dollar, right? The U.S. dollar is the standard currency of the world. And until something changes or a war breaks out, then gold it's just going to stay stagnant, right? I mean, gold is an actual physical property that you can have in your hands. But I was going to go back to ETFs for a second. And I think, here's the deal, guys. What ETFs do is they give the regular investor, the mom and the pops and the people that have 401ks, it gives them the opportunity to buy in at a lower price, right? So if you was to go look at Amazon and Netflix and the FANG stocks, okay, those stocks are priced so high, right? But if you go look at the ETF for that group of stocks, it's priced a lot lower, okay? So you can basically trade something at a lower price, and that's why it's huge, because it allows people to get in at a lower price. Because right now, where Bitcoin is priced, I mean, mom and pops are not going to be able to afford $10,000 for one Bitcoin.
Right, exactly.
Okay, yeah. It's just not going to happen. But if the ETF is priced lower, and let's just say the ETF price came in at 65 or 75 or 100, sure, they can afford that all day long. They'll call up their financial advisor and say, hell yeah, I want into that. Let's buy it. You know, it's a good technology. Let's go for it. That's why it's huge. That's the importance of it.
And then I want to click on that the gold miners index bull and bear ×3, and then their holdings. I mean, they have a cafeteria style of a bunch of different gold miners, silver miners, whatever gold miners here, and those ETF. I mean, call me crazy, but an ETF, it seemed like they would have or need to have a basket of coins. So when they say Bitcoin ETF, ETF, exchange traded fund, and there's fees with that somebody's going to get somewhere. I mean, they don't put this all out there for you to buy and sell for free, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It seems to me they would need more than one coin in there, because every single ETF I've ever looked at had an index top 10 holdings percentage.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because you don't see a Netflix ETF, you don't see an Amazon ETF.
Yeah.
So when they say Bitcoin, that's going to be like the big three plus a few others, and I think Coinbase is kind of getting in play here with their announcement that they're going to add a few more. They're kind of getting ahead of this thing, because whoever's going to be listed is probably going to be part of the Bitcoin ETF.
There you go. Yeah, from Coinbase.
Yeah.
So but see, I'm thinking here pretty soon, Gemini is supposed to pop out with Litecoin. At least they came out and said that. I don't know what the holdup is, but yeah, as soon as Litecoin gets on Gemini, I think that's going to be a big positive, because those guys are going to be doing a lot more as well. They're doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. If the news stuff that's coming out on them is as positive as true, they're going to be a sleeping giant coming out with some institutional incentives over there, and some things Wall Street guys can use. So anyways, we'll have Gemini, then we'll have Coinbase here in the U.S. for sure, doing all that. But anyway, I don't know if that answers his question or confuses him more. But
well, it's confusing for everybody. I think everybody's just waiting to see the announcement. But the other part of this that people are losing sight of, I think, is the regulation that might be coming. And I actually view the regulation as a good thing.
Well, I was getting ready to say that. I was going to let you say it first. And I know Bitcoin and everything's supposed to be, for the free, trade and everything.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah.
But when we start doing these exchanges, I'd like some, credible people and in there, and then, the FDIC and other folks kind of, or SEC as well.
Well, you know what I kind of think? Here's kind of my view on the whole scope of things, is that I view Bitcoin as the NASDAQ back in the day, right? It was the exchange, and you had all these other stocks under it. And I just view Bitcoin as the NASDAQ with all these other altcoins below it. And I think that right now is the time to kind of start looking at what's going to be the next Amazon, what's going to be the next Twitter, or I mean not Twitter, but Netflix or Microsoft. Because Microsoft at one point was a penny stock. I remember that back in the day when it came out, it was a penny stock. And look what happened to it. It's like, what is the company out there right now, or the altcoin, that is actually going to be the one that is going to be like everybody wants to get into? The technology is great. And then you start seeing institutions start getting into it and backing it. So that's kind of what people really need to focus on. And I think, when you start looking at some charts of these things, you can probably start getting an idea, of who's holding up. You start looking at the ones that are really weak. You see all these altcoins that are dropping every day. The ones that are holding up fairly well, those are going to be the ones that win in the end, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
That's my view. My view only. So.
Yeah, the best like it was during the, tech boom, and, the survivors came out into the 2000s, and then the ones that didn't make it, they cleaned out the gene pool pretty good.
Exactly.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. Well, here's some comments kind of going on. So Ahmad, he wants to. Joe? Can you pull up your Bitcoin chart real quick? He wants to kind of look at it. I guess he got on late, so he wants to look at it.
I just clicked on it actually. Yeah. That's whatever he wants to.
Yeah.
See on there.
Hey, Ahmad, do you want to see are you daily? I mean, are you wanting like long term, or are you short term? Or you just want to see what it's at, period? I mean, let's just kind of go over it all, Joe, a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, our main thing, we were talking about that 200 MA, simple moving average, and once it got under it, popped up, kind of flirted with it, got under it again over here, and pretty much hadn't been able to get back up. Now, if we trade sideways here for a little bit, so and pull these moving averages up, and then maybe we get, jump over it, around 8,500 or so. But this, it extended up. What did you say? We were over 40% higher than what we
44% from the lows. 44% from the lows.
Yeah, and that's a pretty, I don't know, that's a pretty good jump to me.
That's a healthy jump right there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one factor. Two factors coming up here on the 200, and then also you had this high pivot here, which is a little bit of resistance, and then you're kind of overbought up here on the RSI. I mean, if you just wanted to look at everything, from the, glass half empty side, or the glass half full side, you have good consolidation here, and you bounced up, and I mean, you haven't even come down 50% of this candle yet, and these moving averages still down here, and lots of times price does not really get that extended over these moving averages. I mean, when it does,
Well, that dotted line that you had in there before, it was right around.
Yeah,
I think yours was showing 7,700, and mine was around 7,800.
Yeah.
So we're spot on where we think support should hold.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't have all that up. I was trying to clean it up for them, but yeah, the 12 coming up to it. You can have all of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about a week or so of resistance, which is now support. Should have a good little floor there.
Yep.
Not to say it can't wick, and that's a wick right here where it comes down and just shoots down. But anyway, then you have the 0.38 fib, which is something else to consider, and then you have this support here. So I feel pretty confident, unless just something crazy happens that.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Throw your 23 or your 0.236 fib on there. You'll be amazed where it's at. It's up here. Here you go.
Right. 236.
I think I just clicked on it for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay.
I think. I don't know if I don't see the check. There it is.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh man, that's cool. Yeah. Let me get rid of that. Yeah, I see what you're saying right here where we thought, man.
Amazing,
crazy.
Huh?
Yeah. Okay.
So somewhere in between those two, and right there where that dotted line of yours is, I think is the sweet spot. I really do. I think that's, if it does. I mean, now I was looking at it like back here, back in this area. I really thought we were going to come down and test this area.
Right.
And it never did. It came down to, and I think at that point, I think the fib was 23.6 or 0.236. And that's where it held, and then it just bounced from there. So we'll see. I mean, if it holds 0.236 again, that is ultra bullish, man. I mean, that is like shorts need to get out of the way.
Yeah, I'm glad you threw that up there. And then, there might be somebody out there saying, well, your RSI, well, if this were a stock, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix or something, I'd be concerned. We're oversold. We need to pull back, and we could even come back to the 30 or so, how it does. But in the past, like we showed earlier, when it's running up, it doesn't really care about fibs.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. It doesn't care. It doesn't care about it if it's overbought or not.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't care. It doesn't care if it's overbought or not. And in fact, most times, most moves are made, especially on the longer term charts. They're made when something is overbought or oversold.
Yeah.
That's.
Let's see if we can call this live. Man, I should have been having this. Okay, here's a 10-minute chart. Each candle is 10 minutes. It sold off here, made a high, made a lower high, a lot lower, low, a lower high here. So you have a high, a lower high, lower high, lower high, like a lower high here. If we crash under, it looks like we're selling off right now. We go under here, we might come back and test this double. This will be a triple here, bottom on the 10-minute anyway. I don't know if we'll get that low tonight, but just like around 8,000, 8,070. If we break, I can't see what that is now. Whatever. Yeah, 150. And maybe come up, make another higher low, like maybe come down here to this, hit it, come up, and then drop again. Yeah, we could see it. I could see it come down to 8,000 tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, this is live. Yeah, this is live trading right here. Just want to show them that. See all this volume over here, buying in. And then, it's pretty much under all these moving averages, which is not, it's no bueno, as well.
Well, and I'll point out something else. I'm going to swing my chart over real quick.
Yeah.
This is a 4-hour chart of Bitcoin. Okay? And so look at this thing of beauty, is that, you know, we broke through this long-term downtrend line, okay? And then scrunch in here a little bit. And then it came down and it back tested that trend line. And it bounced right off of it, okay? But if I drew a fib from this high to this low, it came up and got rejected at the 61.8 retracement. And so now what we've got, and I'll just scroll this out a little bit and show you, is we've actually got what's called a shooting star candle right here. That's rejection. That is rejection off that trying to go higher. And so now the bulls tried to come back after that, and now they can't get back above the 10 EMA. So it's rejecting off it. So that tells me that we're going to go back down here and we're going to test again this trend line and the 20 EMA. And we might even get as close to the 38.2, which is at 79.97. So Joe, I think you're spot on, bro. I think we're probably going to see maybe a wick below 8,000.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm throwing that in there. We'll see what happens.
Right. Yeah, we have that sell-off. Yeah, right. The previous candle. Generally, when you get that sell-off, the next one's not going to be too pretty. And we're still kind of up here. If we get down to 50 again, then we could bounce off that RSI 50 and reset. But, you know, overnight, looks like some profit taking is coming in. You know, just some normal shenanigans. So, anyway,
yeah,
and we'll go from there.
So,
yeah.
So Ahmad also had. Let's see, Ahmad, did you not see the Litecoin chart that we did? Have you not seen that one yet? Hopefully, he's still here.
Yeah. Well, Litecoin, that's kind of a bearish flag, you could say, on the hourly.
Yeah.
I got it pulled up.
Definitely it is. And it's in a bigger bear flag, too, on the daily chart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And see, in the big sell-off candle there. Yeah. And then let me do the 4-hour and clean it up a little bit. Anyway. Yeah. See how that traded up like that? That's kind of a bearish, consolidation. You can make a bear flag out of that. I know it's the opposite, of what you would think.
Is that a daily chart right there, Joe? Is that a daily? That's a 4-hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying, and then you put another one up here.
Yeah.
And I know it kind of goes against, what people would think, just going up, it's trending up. Well, sometimes it does, but
that's a rising wedge. Yeah, that's a rising wedge.
As soon as it breaks, then it's,
Well, the only good thing about this, and we'll see what happens, is right here, this 3-candle pattern that I'm looking at. That's a bullish reversal candle after a slight downtrend. I'm not going to say that's very powerful because if you're in oops, there we go, lost Joe. Joe, you there? Joe? Yeah, I lost Joe for a second. Anyway, I still got him online. I got his chart online. Let's see. Let me see if I can get him back. Hang on here. Anyway, what I was pointing out is this 3-candle pattern right here. You got a red stick, doji, and a green candle. That's a reversal pattern. So as long as it doesn't breach this doji low where he's got the dotted line, then you could go higher. Joe, are you there? Yeah. Oh, there he is. Hey, Joe.
Hey, man.
Okay.
Oh, sorry about that.
No worries. I was just going over this 3-candle pattern here.
Yeah.
That's a reversal pattern. And so where you got your dotted line, as long as it doesn't breach that, then the bulls have a chance. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I put that up there just for myself earlier today. I don't know when I did, or sometime anyway. And, yeah, if it broke that, technically that's when I would be out if I was swing trading this move.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I did it. When we get going on that other little thing we got, I'll show people, where I got in, where I got out, what I'm doing, and, kind of go from there. That's why I had it here on this Ireland. I was that candle wick down. See, I was a bear flag right here up, and then he just dumped. So I go, okay, I'll just put it right here. That'd be my stop loss. But if I was watching the chart like all day long, as soon as this one hit, and this candle formed, really, I mean, of course it's going to up, but
Yeah.
I probably would have put that stop loss there if I was
Absolutely.
trading,
Yeah.
real close.
Yeah.
And then just for testing my theory, I came down here and put it here. Tomorrow week was at 85, right under 85. That's something about stop losses. Don't ever, a whole round number. So as you can see, if people did have their stop loss at 85, see, I came out and hit it, and then went just below it, kind of sneak in there and get a few others.
Oh, yeah.
So it's better to do, like odd cents, like this hit. This is weird. 84, 82 was the low. Normally, it doesn't have those even numbers. Let's see if you put it at a, odd cent number. Anyway, that's just some things that they do, to try to mess with you.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll see how it turns out. This deal. You got that little bow tie going. The 12's coming down. Well, the 50 is already crossed under. I mean, the 20's already crossed under the 50, which is not good. And then the 12's coming down from the top. So we'll see how it plays out.
Exactly.
But again, for everyone, I mean, don't, we've gone up a few percentage points here lately, so don't have a rush panic, and then we have these moving averages holding it up, and then at 82.50, I think, for all practical purposes, at 82.50, needs to hold. If not, then, I might be a little concerned, because we probably would go to 78.50, if you can see right here.
Yeah, I agree.
Next. But that's when they, it came down. That was so perfect. 1, 2, 3, boom. They bought in, and then it just zoomed up through 1, 2, 3, and then you had your little wink. Now, I don't know if you remember, I'm just saying how these charts work, and, it's not me. I'm just finally figuring out how to read them a little bit, so to speak. And if you remember, I put in, while I'm selling a third at the 50 at 94, whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's on Twitter from however many days ago. So it's documented, we were all calling that at the 50, and because, different things.
Very smart.
So
Very
anyway.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can see what's interesting about it is that this is why that 50 is so powerful, because look what we've done now, right? We had we made a high over here, but now what have we done? We've made a lower high right there, lower high. So if it breaks below these EMAs down here, especially right there where Joe was talking about, then guys, I mean, it's going to drop farther. But you never know. I mean, we're still above the 10, the 20. And those can be really good for setting a base for something. I think that's been proven on Bitcoin, when it made its double bottom. So we'll see. I mean, but I don't think it's any time to panic. We're due for some retracing, especially on Bitcoin. 44% move up. You're going to see some retracing. People are going to take profits. That's natural. But in the end, I think my view on this is that Bitcoin is eventually going to get to 9,000. This is, to me, an April type of move. And I mentioned this the other night, is that you're going to see these wild swings down, but then reversals off those. Go back and look at April and see what happened. It had a nice big pop, and then it retraced, and everybody got scared, and then what did it do? It turned around and reversed and went higher. And if we measured that move from April, and I'm talking about a symmetry type move, and symmetry does work in the markets, guys. If we do a symmetry type move for April, the target is 9,000. So what you want to see here is you want to see a retrace down to about, 7,900, 7,700, and then bounce all the way back to 9,000. So that's my view. That's my call. If I'm wrong, I'll come on and admit it. But that's where I'm thinking it's going.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to turn it over to you, brother.
All right, man. Yeah. We kept you a little over an hour, man. We tried to keep you on as long as we could. I tricked you a little bit, but
No, that's good. I always love doing these things.
Yeah.
Appreciate people's input. I appreciate people, following us on Twitter. Give us an opportunity to be held accountable. I'll tell you, I've got, I'm not too bad. I haven't been too bad, but I've gotten a whole lot better since I've had to, post things and take accountability, on Twitter, online. It's there for everybody to see.
Absolutely.
And I know you don't either ever put something up there and then, delete that tweet. Oh man, I'm missing I'll take my lickings, whatever.
The only times I've ever had to delete tweets was when I posted, when I said it was a daily chart and it was really like a 4-hour chart, or I put the wrong chart on there and I was like, oh crap, people are confused or whatever. Yeah. So.
And then also I'm horrible at spelling. If I mess something up, I'll, because it doesn't allow you to edit. You have to completely delete it to change, and to an id or something.
Yeah.
So I do that. But anyway, I think it's helped us both. And these live streams, those are fun too. Hope people get a little bit out of it.
Absolutely. And hey, Joe, real quick, while you're on here, I wanted to tell everybody, guys, we're working on a website, and I'll post it in channel what the website's going to be. We're working on it. It's a work in process, but what it's going to be, we're going to be able to give you guys free content. Okay. It's a place where you'll be able to go, and we'll do some training videos on there. We'll have news, we'll have commentary, and we'll have charts. Me and Joe will put our charts up there, and it's going to be totally free. The only thing is we'll put a deal on there. It's going to be a donation type deal. So if you want to donate money, you can. If you don't, no biggie. We don't care. So it's free. It's not a paid subscription type thing. Okay. So we're wanting to help the little guys and the newbies that are coming on board. We want to help everybody try to learn this market and not lose money. Okay. We're about keeping your money in your pocket and trying to make you money. So that's kind of what we're doing. But I'll post the website, what it's going to be in the channel, and just keep up to date. I mean, we'll let you know on Twitter and future YouTube videos when it's done. But that's kind of what we got going on. And I think I can speak for Joe. We're excited about it.
maybe once a month we'll have a little 2-hour Saturday webinar to go over some of these tricks of the trade and even, how to buy, where to buy, how to transfer it, code store, do just some, maybe take a Q&A during the week, and then the most questions that are the same, we might go over that in a live seminar, or live stream, whatever, once a month, and maybe have a little chart school, go over candles 1 month, and go over support resistance the next month, just whatever, the fans are calling for. So to speak.
Absolutely, yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, Joe, we appreciate you coming on, man, and we'll get after this again. We'll maybe try to make it, a once a week thing on the live stream, just for people that want to see what's going on, and maybe try to do it a little bit more often. But man, it was good having you on, and appreciate you going over the charts and stuff. And we will catch up with you later, my friend.
Hey, JR. Be good.
All right, you too. All right, bye-bye. All right, guys. So we want to thank Joe Marshall for coming on here tonight and being part of the discussion. And I'm going to go ahead and log his chart out. So does anybody have any questions? Real quick, I'm going to post in the channel what the website's going to be. It's going to be this. All right, so there you go. That's going to be the website that we're working on. So if you go there, there's nothing there, okay? But we're working on it, and it'll be coming up hopefully pretty soon. But we're excited about it, and we want to be able to get free content out there for everybody, and so everybody will learn and see how to trade crypto. Does anybody have any chart requests for me? I can go over charts. I can go over anything you want to look at. Oh, say it. Go ahead and say it, Ahmad. Say it, buddy. ETC. All right, here we go. Let me look at it. I know I got it in here somewhere. All right, ETC. Yeah, let's go ahead and blow this up a little bit bigger. This is getting kind of interesting. Okay, so this is a daily chart of ETC, and obviously after this big move, you had this down move, and then you had a retracement up here. What's happening is it's retracing back to prior support, and you can see that it's trying to bounce just ahead of it. Okay, right in here, it's trying to bounce ahead of it. You still have the 10 and the 20 EMAs that are acting as resistance. What you do have on the plus side is you have a very oversold RSI here and a very oversold stock RSI right here. So it's one of those that if you're into catching knives, and this is definitely one of those, and this is ETC. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's... Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. My bad, brother. My bad. Sorry. My bad. Hang on. Clicked on the wrong one. ETC. Sorry. That was ETH. All right. Let me clean this up a little bit, because I was looking at ETC or ETH for altcoin plays. That's always a gauge of where they're going and what they're doing. This is old stuff. Let me clear this out. Well, this is about the same. I mean, I'll still keep that there. Let's do retracements on the downside here. It's past the 78.6. Oh, goodness me. Well, here's the good news. After this low over here, it made a higher high, right? It got past this, and it's trying to make a higher low. Okay? You still have the 10 and the 20 hooking down. I still have this retracement down here, the 127.2, which it could still get to if it breaks this low. If it breaks this low, and I'll put a ray on it here. And that's pretty close to it, I think. Yeah, there we go. So if it breaks this low, it's coming down here. It's going to hit the 127.2. But the good news, and it's almost like ETH, is that you've got the stochastic RSI starting to hook up a little bit. The regular RSI is coming out of oversold, or trying to. But, you know, could it be trying to form a bottom, a short-term bottom? Sure it could. Let's just take a look at some retracements on, now that we know it's kind of put in a short-term bottom. All right, so there you go. Yeah, I should probably throw on the 23.2. All right, there we go. Okay, so ETC, you would want to see it get past the 10 EMA and the 23.6. I would imagine that if it does, it's probably going to stall out right here and maybe go a little sideways before it tries to break through all this congestion right in here. So are people getting in ahead of this right here, this low? Because that was a strong low right there. It made a higher high. It broke this over here. That's strong support right there. Okay? Does that help? You bet. Any other chart requests? And I can go over anything. I know Joe had... I'll let Joe pretty much kind of do his own deal with the charts and stuff tonight. But if you want to see mine, I can throw them up on there. EOS. All right, let's take a look at EOS. That's a popular one. Let me throw that back up there like that. Keep. Do you want the USD pair or do you want the BTC pair? Because I got two different ones. Some people play it based on USD and some play it based on BTC. BTC. All right. All right. So, well, let's get rid of the 127.2. Since it broke that. And okay. That's a 4 hour. Let's go look at the daily. Oh wow. Okay. Ooh, this is really interesting. All right, so here's kind of what I got, and I could just like looking at it and eyeballing it. So we've got the 161.8 retracement, which normally is a pretty good reversal pattern, right? Or a fib. And you've got this candle pattern right here on the daily. It's not perfect, right? But it's almost like a warning shot to bears that we're getting close to a low. It didn't quite touch it on the number, but it came close enough. And then not only that, but look at this. Let me throw up a trend line. All right. If I can click on it just right. Get that thing out of the way. All right. And then I'll do this as well. Let's see. All right. So this is what you call a bullish divergence, right? Is that you got the stochastic RSI down here, price comes up. It turns and it comes down here. It makes a lower price, but the indicator makes a higher low. So lower price, higher indicator, that is bullish. Okay, that's a bullish divergence. So what you're watching for, and especially like I talked about with this candle pattern here, and especially coming off the 161.8, is that this thing could come back up in here and test this area. And I'll throw a fib on it to give you an idea of where it might go to. And I actually think it's probably going a little higher, so I'll leave the 23.6 off there. So there you go. You know, you're watching for resistance right here at, what is that, 1074-ish. And then just follow the fibs. But unless this thing turns around and breaks back through that divergence, I mean, that's textbook stuff right there. That's textbook. So you could actually, in theory, if you're a knife catcher, you could actually take a position or wait until it retraces a little lower, and then put your stop in right here at the low of this doji, which is down in here. If you've got that risk, you could actually buy it in here and put your stop below that. Now, could it come down and actually hit the 161.8 on the number? Sure it can. But that right there, that's a bullish divergence. So those are ones you need to watch. I mean, it could be one of those that just pops out of nowhere. So I'll just throw that out there. I mean, you do have the 50 EMA that's screaming down a little bit, but that doesn't mean that it can't go higher, right? So EOS is actually, I mean, this is actually looking not bad, not bad. I'll be watching it really close. Two Eves and Adams. Right. Yeah. So, you know, if you look at it like this, scroll it out just a little bit more, and then if I was to do something like this, wow, how about that? That tell you anything? Yeah, let's get it over here. There we go. How's that? See right here, back in this area, back in here in April, came screaming down, and then it hit this support and then made the huge move. Look where it's at now. I'm not saying that it's going to do the same thing, but I'm just saying keep an eye on it. And especially with that divergence right there, who knows? You know, now the EMAs are not lined up the same way, but you could get a play out of it. You know, I don't know that I would be like long term just yet, because I think once it gets up in this area up in here, that it could just kind of hit it and then go sideways a little bit before the EMAs start to turn around and get it in its favor. But I think that's rather interesting that it's holding this area over here, which is so close to the 161.8 retracement. So I hope that helps. Yeah, let me take a look. Hang on, I'll throw it on here. Sometimes I'll take the volume on and off, only because I have like so much stuff on here and I want to make it clear for everybody. Let's do this. Let's take, there we go. And let me scroll in and get you an idea. Okay, so back in here, here's your volume. Look at that big volume spike right here. And then it came back down. Volume came back in to support it, and then it had huge volume right here. And then obviously the sellers took over right up here. So right now, I mean, volume is really good on EOS. Look at this. I mean, it's not like it's dying off. There's people trading this. They're doing something with it. But I'm liking this bullish divergence over here. I really am. I'm liking it. And holding that support right there. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I'm going to save that. Any other chart requests? Or any questions at all about the market? Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, anything? Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. When you look at stuff like that and you see where it... That's what I always do. If my fibs don't line up, then I always try to scroll back and I'm like looking for an area where it bounced. You know, it's like there had to be a reason why it bounced where it did. So... look at Bitcoin just real quick. For anybody that didn't see, I'll just throw... what do I do? I want to throw... Let me do the... I'll just put the Bitcoin daily chart out there. And this is kind of what I got. And I talked about it with Joe. And I'll just go back to my views about it. So... You know, we had our nice double bottom, big move, 44% up, right? And then I threw Joe's 200 simple moving average on here, which is true. I mean, it held it back in here. It's been coming down. And then it hit the 261.8 and the 200. So that's a big area to get through, right? But I still go back and I say that we're going to do an April type of move, okay? And that's this move right in here, okay? And then if we do that, we're going up here. Right in this area. 9,000 to 9,300. That's the area. So we'll see what happens. I mean, you know, obviously our stochastic RSI is oversold or overbought. Regular RSI is overbought. But I think Joe pointed it out is that if you go back and look at it back in here, and obviously we're not in these type of days, but if you look at the EMAs, guys, look at this. I mean, that type of move is powerful. This type of move is powerful. That one is powerful. So, could we get up to here? Sure we can. Sure we can. I mean, this is, and not only double bottom here, but double bottom from here to here. So, if this move did this, then what would a double bottom here and here, what would that do? I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not, you know, a perma bull, but I'm just throwing out the, you know, the chances. You know, I mean, I see so many people calling for 4,000 or 3,000. Sorry. I mean, could it get there? Sure it can, but I'm of the view that we're not done just yet with this move. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. I don't think so. Any other chart requests, please? Questions? Just started using your stop losses. Okay, so on your stop losses, it just depends on, like, you've got to chart stuff, right? And so when you get into something, you would probably want to have a stop loss, I would say probably within, I don't know, 1% to 2% of where you entered, right? The whole goal to stop losses is that you want them tight enough that if you catch it just right, based on your charts and your TA knowledge and whatnot, that your losses are going to be small, right? So the whole purpose of this game, and I call it a game because it is that you want your stop losses to take you out of any kind of emotion that you might have of being in love with something, right? I always tell everybody, don't be totally in love with something unless you've got free shares in it. You know, it's like Digibyte. I love that stock, but I don't look at it. I was able to trade it enough that I got free shares out of it. So that's kind of the way you play it. Really, I mean, and then you want to take small losses on your stop losses, because if you lose 1 or 2% on a stop loss, okay, and it takes you out, then you compensate that with something that's going to gain 10 or 20%. I would take a 10 or 20% gain, and I would be so happy with a 1 or 2% stop loss that took me out all day long. So that's what it's about. You got to, you know, your losses, you've got to minimize them. You can't just sit there and say, okay, well, I'll double up here or buy it. You can't do that, guys. I'm telling you, I've been through it. You cannot do it. Let your stop loss do the work for you. And if it reverses and goes higher after it stops you out, you can't think about that. You've got to just take your mind totally away from that. It's a bad call, you know, or I got it wrong. But you won't get it wrong the next time. You learn from it, you know. So, but the whole end to this is that you keep your capital safe. You want to stay in the game. Yeah, Well, Raphael, I trust me, I learned about stop losses the hard way. I've told this story to many people, but back in the day, I was trading S&P futures, and this was back in 2001, and I was short, and the market was going down. I was making money. I was up probably $3,000 or $4,000 almost, and all of a sudden, I didn't have a stop loss because I was like, yeah, I'm pretty confident. You know, the market's crashing, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, I'm looking at my screen, and within 2 seconds, my 3,000 plus profit went into about a $4,000 loss because the Federal Reserve came out and did an intraday rate cut on interest rates because the market was crashing. They were trying to save the market. And that's the first time they had ever done that. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. And so I ended up having to cover. And then, of course, the next day, I think the market was down even lower than what it was that day when I had to cover. So it just made me even more mad. But anyway, Yuan chain. All right, let's look at Yuan. Yeah, so stop losses. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you guys. And sometimes, here's another story real quick. Sometimes you can't get them in quick enough. I was trading, while I pull up Yuan, I was trading the Japanese yen. I was trading currencies. Or no, I'm sorry. My bad. I was trading futures again. And this was like 2 or 3 years ago. Anyway, I was trading the futures, and I went short, and I thought I had a great short entry, and so I put my order in, and before I could go and get my stop loss in, there was news that came out, and the market, I mean, it was something to do with Japan. I can't remember what it was, but all I remember is Japan, and it took me out. I couldn't cover fast enough. It was just crazy. It happened within a split second. And I was like, man, I'm doomed. I'm bad luck. Okay, so here's one. And I think I did this one for somebody. I can't remember who I did this for. I did this for somebody, I thought. Let me get that off there. All right. Yeah, so look at this. It's almost like EOS, right? Close to the 127.2, although EOS was 161.8. But 127.2 is a nice kind of reversal area. So it's trying to reverse. It's still got the 10 and the 20 EMA right in here that are going to be resistance. You can see what's happened in the past. So just keep that in mind. If you go along this, watch this area right up in here. Okay. Stochastic RSI has bottomed out, and it's actually kind of made a higher low, so to speak. So you might get a decent bounce off this. I would just watch these EMAs right in here, the 10, the 20. That's what I would watch. I can do some fibs on it. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. And then I'll scroll in just a little bit so you can see it a little better. Didn't quite make a bullish engulfing, right? That's a nice candle pattern, but it didn't quite engulf the red candle. So you want to watch that. All right? But still, I mean, you got the stochastic RSI trying to bottom out. And this is a daily, so I mean, it could get back up in here if it really, really tried. So, well, thank you for subscribing, my friend. I appreciate it. I'm going to start doing and I've been saying this, but I'm going to try to do more videos on here and get more active with it. We've been trying to get the website going. I've been spending a lot of time in our Telegram channel, and so I'm trying to balance my time, and it's just and with a full-time day job, it's kind of tough, but I'm doing the best I can. So anyway, anybody have any other charts requests? Anything? I'm going to save that chart, by the way. Questions? Charts? Anything? Let me throw this back on this here. I think that was what I had. Yep. Let me get my daily chart back over here. There we go. TRX, let's go look. I had that one up. TRX, interesting. That's another one, I did this one the other night, I think, for somebody. It's another one of those that's got like a bear or bullish divergence, right? So you got lower price here, and you got a higher indicator right here compared to back here, right? So back here, where the low on the stochastic RSI was, price was way up here, okay? Bounced, stochastic RSI gets here, and then it starts dropping, and then look what happens to price. That just means that's oversold. That's just way too much. And then so you get a bullish divergence, higher indicator, lower price. That's a bullish indicator. That's a bullish divergence. And your RSI is down here. So, and not only that, but the 423.6 retracement, which is another good reversal area, came pretty close to. In fact, it just call it as good. It hit that. So what you're watching again is the 10 and the 20 EMAs. Not one of those that you want to be like ultra long on yet. But could it get up here and test the 20? You can see where it kind of wicked above it right here. So you could possibly get a move back up into this where I got the red line. That's an old support level, which is now resistance. So what is that, 510? You know, you probably would want to watch it. You know, if you're buying right in here, 510, that's the area to kind of look out for. And then if it gets past that, then obviously it's going to make a bigger run because you're breaking old, new resistance right in there. So, I mean, TRX doesn't look half bad, but you still want to kind of be careful. You got an inside day here, candle-wise, but it has not broke above this big red candle right here. Okay? All this stuff right here is within the big red candle. Okay? Keep that in mind. So until it gets above that 38.2 retracement, you know, you got to watch it. Got to be careful. Hope that helps. Any other questions? And by the way, that's the one thing on, if you guys look at candlestick patterns, and I do have that video on my YouTube channel that explains it, and I'll probably do a more in-depth one at one point, but I just kind of go over reversal patterns and whatnot. But here's TRX. I mean, and this is what I'm talking about. Look at this big red candle, and that's where bears took over. And then you got this. You got a green candle inside of it. It wicked up here right at the top, but then it can't candle close above it. And so you got these candles that are staying still inside of this red candle, right? Once it gets above the 38.2, which is that red candle, amazingly enough, then you might get a bigger move. So that's what I've got on TRX. Okay, let's see. What do we got? Tuned in late. BAT. Well, I have not charted BAT. Let me take a look at it. Okay, so here's the daily chart of BAT. Oh, wow. Interesting. All right, let's do this. Let's just go here to here. Just kind of eyeballing a little bit. Let's see. Make sure that's the high. No. There. All right. Let's take out the 38.2 and that and the 50. I can't catch it on that high. There we go. All right, so on that retrace, it's holding the 61.8 or trying to. Stochastic RSI is getting into oversold, but it can stay oversold, so keep that in mind. Regular RSI is, it's still kind of weak, but it's trying to hold on to the 50 EMA. 10 and 20 are hooking down. And it broke this, it looks like. Yeah. All right, so that's not good. So it had this trend line right here that it was trying to hold on to, and then you had some massive sellers right in here. Huge. So it broke the trend line. I would tend to think that you're wanting to look down on this one. Probably down into here at the 78.6 retracement. If it breaks that, then you've got, I'll throw the 127.2 on there, and then of course you got the previous low. So there you go. So there's your retracements coming down. You broke the trend line here. Now, could it bounce and go and retest that trend line? Sure it can. I would be a seller of it for now. That's just the way I'm looking at it. I mean, it's going to have to reverse hard off of this area right in here and get past that to take a long. That's just my opinion. I mean, stochastic RSI is low enough that you might get a bounce at some point, but it's been staying in oversold for the past 4 to 5 days. So it could stay there for another 3 or 4 days, you know. Just my opinion. I could be wrong. I mean, it could make a big move up, but these long wicks coming out the top, that makes me a little nervous. Just my opinion. And I will save that chart, by the way. Well, I don't know I'm going to call myself a master or not. I've been around it for a while. I kind of tend to recognize some things and see it, but I don't get everything right, bro. If I did, I'd be on an island somewhere, and I wouldn't be on Twitter, and I wouldn't be on YouTube. Yeah, I would be on an island somewhere, but that's just what happens, you know? All right, so that's BAT. Any other charts to look at? Anything? Any questions? There's my, I'll throw it up here real quick. This is my Bitcoin weekly chart. And so this is probably one of the better ones I've had in a long time, but we had the downtrend line, and you can see where it broke through it, but then it got rejected and it kept retesting it, and then eventually broke off of it once it got down to the 100 EMA and the 127.2 retracement, by the way. And now we're back above the 20 EMA and the 50. The 10 is still down here, so we're kind of waiting, and it may take a couple of weeks or more to get the 20 to start hooking up again. So if Bitcoin can just kind of base for a little bit, maybe move, you know, slightly higher or sideways, and let this 20 EMA hook up, there's the start of your new bull run. Just saying. But we shall see. Stranger things have happened. All right, guys, any other questions? Any other chart requests? Anything? Getting ready to head out. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you coming in tonight, and we've got a lot of stuff that's coming your way, a lot of free stuff, free website, free charts, all that good stuff. And if you need any help, you can message me on Twitter. Look in the message channel. I think I need to change that, by the way. Hang on here. Yep. That has actually changed. Let me do this. There we go. All right, CryptoFib. So if you have any questions, you can message me there. Or just on regular Twitter. Or you can ask questions right here in the YouTube channel. I'll respond to those. But please, like the channel, subscribe. Love all you guys, and can't wait to start getting this thing going and sharing some info and hopefully saving you guys some money. So appreciate you coming in, and we will catch up with you guys at some point later. Thanks, guys.